The Astros. Carlos Beltran went deep 3 times last night for the Mets. Young guns Bud Norris and Dylan G square off on the mound tonight. The Astros and the Mets in Minute Maid next on Fox Sports Houston. Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game weekend series against the New York Mets. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros had a day off yesterday, and they might have, had they chosen to, savor that walk-off win on Wednesday, JD.
Yeah, boy, it was a nice win. A big game-winning hit delivered by Hunter Pence. Now the Mets come to town. One of the 2 series the Astros have won this year was in New York earlier this season. Tonight it's Bud Norris and Dylan G for the Mets. Dylan G, a right-hander that we have never seen before. He's from just up the road in Cleveland, Texas. He's got a real good changeup. You just saw it there. Not a real hard thrower, but a guy who knows how to pitch. But Norris, on the other hand, is a real hard thrower. He's had that strikeout pitch working again this year. One of the best strikeout rates in all of baseball. Had 9 punch-outs in his last start in Pittsburgh, a game in which he lost, but pitched quite well.
Coming up, it's a battle of hard-hitting outfielders as well. Hunter Pence and Carlos Beltran. Beltran, the former Astro, unloading 3 homers last night. Pence on a 15-game hitting streak and opposing another UT Arlington player, Dylan G, next. At least they split up by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Beautiful night in downtown Houston. Cooler. Humidity dropped after the storm came through yesterday. The roof just rolled back about a half an hour ago. And it is going to be gorgeous for these fans here tonight. As Bud Norris warms up, here's the starting lineup for Terry Collins' New York Mets, brought to you by Xfinity. Jose Reyes leads off at shortstop, and he is quite a package of offense at .315 this season. Josh Tolley, the catcher, bats second. It's David Wright, who's had a couple of days off, returning to play third base. Carlos Beltran had the big night in Colorado last night. He's in right field. Jason Bay's in left. Daniel Murphy takes over at first base for the injured slugger Ike Davis. Justin Turner's at second base. Jason Pridey in center field. Dylan G, the pitcher.
And for the Astros tonight, it's hard-throwing right-hander Bud Norris. You look at his line for his last 5 starts, 2-1 with a 1.65 ERA. One of those coming in New York against the Mets back on April 20th. He allowed 3 runs in 6 innings of work in that game. The Astros won 4-3. He got a no decision. But, he's been able to lower that ERA with almost every start so far this year. Defensively, it's Leaborn and Pence in the outfield. Johnson, Barmas, Hall, and Wallace around the infield, and Humberto Quintero is the catcher.
The Astros winning 1 out of 3 against the Reds. Now continue this homestand, which concludes Sunday afternoon. Then they go on a 3-city road trip. At home, they're 8-11 this season. Brad Mills' club overall is 114 and lost 23. Meanwhile, the Mets have improved some in the last week. They've won 5 of their last 7. And Terry Collins' club now is 17-20. Both clubs are in last place in their divisions, and both are 7.5 behind the leaders as they play tonight.
Just got to read that morning paper upside down, and then you're in first place.
Jose Reyes, .315 with a homer, has driven in 14. .360 on base average. And he smacks one on the ground on the first pitch into right field past Bill Hall for a leadoff single for Reyes.
So much for that leadoff man seeing some pitches and working the count. And this is what he did in that series in New York. Was very aggressive early and really had a nice series. There's Terry Collins, the former Astros manager, back in the saddle after a hiatus after he lost that Angels job. Career record of .461 and .454 for TC.
Reyes bears watching at first. He has 12 steals in 15 attempts. Josh Tolley, the batter.
And what comes first, the attempted steal or the attempted pickoff by Q?
We have a dynamic confrontation tonight. There's ball 1 to Tolley. Tolley, a .234 hitters, driven in 10.
But effective against the Mets in that game back in April with throwing that slider, hard slider in on the left-handed hitters under the hands. There are the numbers for that start. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, 106 pitches. Lefties have been problematic this year, hitting .341 against them, while he is absolutely chewed up and spit out right-handers. They're hitting a .145 off of Bud.
In Bud's career against the Mets, he's 1-1 with a 4.82 ERA for 3 starts. Coming into this one with some really good recent outings. That one's in the dirt. Brett Wallace down on a knee to block it.
First baseman has to be aware with this battery. Q loves to throw to the bases, and Bud's got a very quick pickoff move, and he likes to air it out over there too. So Brett Wallace will be challenged tonight with this tandem, making sure he doesn't look away. Sometimes with Bud, yeah, boom, got him.
Yes, he did. Picked off Reyes for out number 1.
I can't think of another right-hander over the years who's as quick as Bud with that pickoff move.
Nice job by Wallace.
And didn't have a particularly big lead either. They got him on the elbow before the hand got the bag.
Now Tolley swings at the 2-1 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's 86 degrees at game time. Winds out to left at 17 miles per hour. Reyes back to the dugout. And Toley's crowded by that pitch.
Is that baseball's version of the perp walk when the guy gets picked off and they get the shot of him walking down the length of the dugout?
That's it.
The walk of shame.
Norris now walks Toley. David Wright will come up. First time Norris faced the Mets last year in August here. He pitched a very good game. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. He won that one 3-2. Wright, who we mentioned, has had a couple days off. He's been banged up ever since a collision at third base with Carlos Beltran when the Astros were in New York weeks ago. 234, 5 homers, 16 runs batted in. His upper back has been bothering him. He leads the club in walks with 22.
Yeah, that's what this Met team does well. They've walked more than anybody in the league. They haven't hit for a high average, but the on-base percentage pretty darn good because of all the walks.
Terry Collins' club is 6th in runs scored in the National League. Barmas to his right, gets it on to second. Bill Hall on to first, and the stretching Wallace takes it for a 6-4-3 double play. No runs a hit, nobody left, no score. Starting lineup for Brad Mills brought to you by Xfinity. Michael Bourne, Clint Barmas, Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, Bill Hall, Humberto Quintero, Bud Norris.
Dylan G for the Metropolitans tonight. And he's made 3 starts. He's 2-0 with a 265 as a starter. He's also worked 3 times out of the bullpen. As I mentioned in the pregame, he's from up the road in Cleburne. Went to University of Texas Arlington, the same school that Hunter Pence attended. So he's probably put a little pressure on the pass list here tonight.
21, we're told. No balls, 2 strikes. And a nice moment for this 25-year-old right-hander to come back close to home, compete. And he was a 21st round pick in 07, got $20,000 to sign.
Inflation. I was a 21st round pick in 1982 and got a hair. Show up for work if you want to work. I got a sweatsuit with my bonus money. At least he could buy a car.
Well, he's made it pay off. Despite the fact that his pitches are ranked below average, he has command of them.
He likes that changeup. If you know how to pitch and you can execute a game plan, if you've got good enough. So there's a threshold. If you can just be so short stuff-wise, it's very difficult to compete. And that's when you have to really be able to trick some hitters. Or just a complete unwillingness to give in like Jamie Moyer. Typically a guy like G, the hitters will talk about his fastball, say that's hitting speed. Those guys that sit right around 89, 90 miles an hour.
One fouls it away. Well, G has certainly competed well. He's made 8 major league starts, 5 of them last year. And he's gone at least 5 1/3 in each. He's given up no more than 3 earned runs in any of them. That ranks pretty well down through recent Mets years.
And that's the difference maker there. When you've got the plus changeup, you don't have to have a great fastball. The Mets defensively have Bay, Pretty, and Beltran in the outfield. Wright, Reyes, Turner, Murphy on the infield, like Davis has hurt. So Danny Murphy, who's been playing some second base, slides over to first. Josh Tolley is the catcher for Dylan G. Very good on the left side of that infield.
Lynn Barmas is next, and this one goes to right field. Carlos Beltran. 2 outs. Dylan G got a no decision last time out against the Dodgers Saturday. The Mets won the game 4-2, gave up 2 runs in 5 1/3. Now he faces Hunter Pence. It's UT Arlington against UT Arlington. So 8 starts in his career, a 4-2 record, a 2.82 ERA. Speaking well for Dylan G, maximizing his talents in the major leagues.
I tell you, the fun factoid about him, statistically, he has not given up a walk or a home run to a right-handed batter yet this year.
Here's ball 1 to Hunter, sizzling on a 15-game hitting streak. 307 for the season, 5 homers, 31 runs batted in. His streak is the longest active streak in the majors. His career high, a 16-game streak in 08. And he's worked the count his way at 2-0. These two have met. They've talked a few times, but did not play at the same time for UT Arlington.
There should be an alumni function here tonight.
Yeah.
Be a good fundraiser.
It would be. We could get some good autographs. 2 balls and a strike. Hunter's hit .355 during his 15-game streak with 2 homers, and he's driven in 14. Taps the breaking pitch foul. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dylan G on the road has made 3 starts in his career, a 3-0 record, a 1.83 ERA.
Is he any relation to Kenny G?
Not that we know of. Hunter cracks a line drive to left center field, and that one's caught by Bay. Well hit ball for out number 3, and it's 0-0 after 1.
All Summer, presented by Minute Maid, is back and available for every home game this summer. For every full-price adult ticket you purchase in the outfield or view deck sections, you can get up to 2 free tickets for kids 14 and under. Visit Astros.com for tickets. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. The boos were there for Carlos Beltran, who was announced as the leadoff man here in the 2nd inning for the Mets. Relatively tame, though. And he takes ball one after his big night last night with the 3 long balls. He had hit 3 homers in his previous 28 games. He has 8 home runs now for the year. That one goes on a line. Hunter Pence is there. One out for Bud Norris. Now, the big hole in the Mets lineup right now belongs to Ike Davis, who's on the disabled list with a .302 batting average, 7 homers, 25 runs batted in. Beltran picking up some of the slack recently, but Jason Bay and David Wright have really struggled in the early going. Bay with 1 homer, 5 runs batted in, has a .215 average. There's strike one. Last year he had concussion problems and missed a whole lot of action.
Missed most of the first month of this season as well. When Wright, a very productive hitter, a guy who works deep counts, hits for power, usually pretty good average.
He didn't play after July last year and then just came off the disabled list this year when the Astros were in New York April 21st. 2 balls and a strike to Jason Bay, 32 years old, native of Trail, British Columbia, Canada. 2-2 for Bud Norris against Bay. Bud has struck out at least 6 in all 7 of his starts. You have to go back to Mike Scott to find an Astros pitcher who did that to open the season. And that's out number 2. First K of the night for Bud. 8th in the league in strikeouts.
Well, Fox Tracks is brought to you by Steele. That slider right there for Bay, but mystified by it. Could not make contact.
Daniel Murphy's playing first base in the absence of Ike Davis. Murphy takes it. It's ball 1 to him. .255 with 2 homers. Murphy's driven in 11. Had a big home run against the Astros in New York April 20th. Announcer Norris. And in the second inning, the Mets go down quickly. It's 0-0. No score, bottom of the second inning. Carlos Lee on a 6-game hitting streak gets it going and looks at ball 1 at .229 with 3 homers. Carlos has 20 runs batted in. 3 hits away from 2,000 for his career. 2 hits away from 2,000 for his career. Sharp single to left. First Astros base runner. Carlos has a 7-game streak.
Average slowly but surely inching up in the more familiar territory. Still has a ways to go, but had some good swings of late. I have to like the tone being set by both the pitchers tonight, both Norris and G. Very aggressive with their approach, working quickly, throwing a lot of strikes.
Brett Wallace is hitting .409 at home, .328 overall this season. 2 homers. He's driven in 11. Fastball in tight to him. Ball 1. Chris Johnson's on deck. Wallace went 2 for 10 in the Cincinnati series. David Wright is way off the third base line. But why wouldn't he be with Wallace where he normally hits the ball, and G is pounding him inside, so it's 2 balls, no strikes.
He hits a lot of balls up the middle. He does hit the occasional ball to the left side, but it's usually in the air when he does that. Much more than the occasional ball in the air to the left side. That's a stroke left center.
2-1 to Brett.
It's a situation where he's more likely to hit it where Wright is now positioned than he is right down the third base line.
The Astros and their opponents combined are averaging 9.49 runs per game this year. Second in the majors. Only Kansas City and the Kansas City opponents are averaging more runs per game than the Astros and their opponents.
Primarily because the Astros have given up way too many runs.
197. In tight again, ball 3. They've scored 154. They won a hard-fought game Wednesday.
Yeah, that was a good win. It was going through one of those periods where a funk was starting to fall over the ball club. That was a nice win, especially heading into an off day.
Wallace takes a walk. That's his 14th. We go to Patty Smith.
Well, hey, baseball fans, Chevy is proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. If you would like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. And Bill, I guess since we're playing the Mets, it should be youth baseball.
Maybe so. 2 men on for CJ.
The great Fred Gwynn as the judge in that movie.
Oh.
My cousin Vinny.
Curveball's outside, ball 1. Johnson at 185 trying to get started. He has 4 homers, 13 runs batted in. CJ went 1 for 11 in the Cincinnati series. Astros players were here early for the Pink in the Park luncheon today over at Union Station. A lot of money raised for charity. 2-0. Johnson has walked 3 times. Now Tolley, Reyes come out to the mound.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I just got done saying how aggressive both pitchers were. And when Wallace came up there, G was pitching to the scouting report, which is pound him in, pound him in, pound him in. Well, when you pound somebody in, rarely are you throwing the ball in the strike zone. You're trying to jam him, trying to tie him up. And that's the whole key for Wally. If he can lay off that pitch that's in on his hands, more times than not off the plate, he's going to draw a lot of walks, or he's going to get some pitches out over the plate to handle. But it's kind of gotten G now into this mode of not being quite as aggressive.
He shoots one in for a strike. Tomorrow, the first 10,000 fans will receive a Chris Johnson bobblehead doll. Features CJ with a pink bat. Good looking bobblehead. Into left field. Carlos Lee's being sent home by Dave Clark. Jason Bay with a throw to the plate. Tolley with a tag. He got him. Bay with a one-hop throw to the catcher. Tolley gunned down Lee for out number 1. Johnson gets a single. Wallace stops at second.
A pretty aggressive send here with nobody out in the inning, but Dave Clark felt like Carlos could score this run on Bay, who made a nice, accurate throw home. And bang, bang play just got him. Carlos a little choppy making that turn at third base. See, the catcher gives him the back corner of the plate and then applies the tag. Stand in front of the plate, you're going to get smoked.
Angel Hernandez with the out call. Now Bill Hall takes ball one on a high curveball.
There's a chance that Carlos gone a little further away from home plate, more, towards the backstop. He might have been able to slap that back corner before the tag was applied, but it's tough to do when the throw's coming from left field.
Hall puts it in the air and it's fouled and out of play. That was the 5th outfield assist for the Mets this year.
As a base runner coming home from third on a throw from right field, you can kind of see the play develop. You can see the throw, you see how the catcher's set up, but when the throw's coming from the left fielder, it's behind you. You're not sure what's going on.
El Caballo gunned down. Quintero's on deck as Bill Hall tries to follow suit. The first 3 have reached base here.
And with the bottom of the order coming up, that helps to explain Dave Clark's aggressiveness in that situation as well.
Early in the ball game. Now normally he doesn't get that aggressive, but considering the circumstances you just went through, it is understandable.
Very few black and white plays in baseball. There's usually gray area.
Reyes on the slow bouncer double clutches and gets the out at first. He wanted to go to second on Johnson, but gets Hall. Wallace to third, Johnson to second, 2 outs.
His best option may have been third base.
Might have.
He may have been thinking double play initially. I don't think he was going to get it, but that might have been his thinking. And then when he couldn't get the handle, there was no play to be had at second, and he's got enough arm and kind of bailed him out. He threw that from his heels and put a lot on it.
Humberto Quintero has runners in scoring position. Ball one with the pitcher spot due up next. Q, a .259 hitter, has driven in 7. Day baseball tomorrow. 3:05 start for game 2 of this series. And then Sunday a 1:05 finale for the homestand. Crack bat, it's in the air, and David Wright is backpedaling, giving way to Reyes. And G is out of trouble with no runs, 2 hits, 2 men left for the Astros. It's 0-0.
Budweiser tomorrow when the Astros host the Mets at 3:05. Beginning tomorrow at 12:30, military personnel can present valid military ID at windows 25 through 27 at Minute Maid Park box office to receive up to 4 free tickets to the game. 1,000 are available while supplies last. Visit astros.com/military for details. And that is a great way to honor our military personnel, Bill.
Really is terrific, Patty. Pre-game ceremonies feature a special first pitch, honor guard, and the presentation of the large American flag by U.S. veterans. Carlos Lee in left field, ready for the third inning now after being thrown out at the plate trying to score in the second. No score, and it's Turner leading it off. Justin at second base, a .269 hitter, has 3 runs batted in. Taking strike one. Turner may hit second against left-handed pitching. No balls, 2 strikes. Mets will see a left-hander tomorrow, and Jay Happ with R.A. Dickey on the mound for New York. They've done well against lefties. Whoa! Around the head.
Hello.
That was a scary 0-2 pitch.
You could see prior to the pitch, Q was asking for the high fastball, but there you go. He's accommodated, and Turner starting to drift towards home plate, just able to get out of harm's way. That would have been ugly. You got to be careful up there. Nothing wrong with pitching inside, nothing wrong with pitching up, but you got to be careful when it's up around the coconut.
Fouled away. Still 1-2 to 26-year-old Justin Turner from Long Beach, California, and Cal State Fullerton. He was drafted by Cincinnati, then traded to Baltimore. The Mets claimed him on waivers last year. He played in all 3 games when the Astros were in New York, going 2 for 9 in that series. Started 2 of the 3. And he struck him out.
Most hitters will tell you that that element of fear never completely goes away. It's always in the back of the mind. And after a fastball up around the head like that, it moves a little bit from the back towards the front of the mind, not only for the guy in the batter's box, but for everybody in both dugouts, and especially in that Met dugout. Tough to go out to that outside pitch with conviction if you've been undressed like that.
Now Jason Pridey, an excellent defensive player, looks at ball one. 238 for Pridey, 3 homers, 8 runs batted in. 27 years old, from Phoenix. Drafted by Tampa Bay. Then he was taken in the Rule 5 draft after the 05 season by Minnesota. The Mets claimed him on waivers early last year.
Kind of an ironic twist. His sister goes by the name of Pretty. She prefers Pretty, the pronunciation of that name.
Really?
Yeah. But
Sounds
he didn't
like
want to be a pretty boy. He's Pridey.
You made that up. Fly ball. There's Bill Hall. And it's out, number 2.
Could you see it right in gym class? You know, the first day of school in junior high. Pretty? We got Pretty in here? No, it's Pridey. It's Pridey.
Sounds like a family squabble. But there are families who pronounce the last name differently. In fact, the Biggio family was one of those. Dylan G has 1 hit and 5 at bats this season. Got a chance to fill in that starting rotation when there were injuries. Mike Pelfrey, the opening day starter. Jonathan Neese, R.A. Dickey. Chris Young went down with an injury.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have surgery again.
Chris Capuano, the 5th starter, but with Young going down, that gave G a chance to start. Norris goes after him with a fastball to make it 2-1. Norris 2-0 at home with a 1.40 ERA here.
How about that? Both clubs have lost a base runner on the bases. Reyes was picked off first. And the Astros hurt a little bit more when Carlos was thrown out at home plate. Bud gets G here. He will have faced the minimum through 3 innings. Looks like he's on his way to another solid start.
There's an article in USA Today about the no-hitters this year, 2 of them so far, and about candidates. And Bud was at the end of the article mentioned in the conversation. And that's a strikeout looking. That's number 3 for Bud Norris, and through the first 2.5, it's scoreless. You buy Steel. Visit SteelDealers.com. Buy Jack in the Box. Get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards. It is an ideal night. Downtown Houston, low humidity, temperature just about perfect. Sun going down out there in the distance. The Oranges are at a good temperature right now. And the Astros come up in the bottom of the third with Bud Norris leading it off. Curveball spins up, and it's ball 1 from Dylan G. Norris has 2 hits and 12 at bats. Bud got a hit and drove in a run in the game at New York against R.A. Dickey. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Angel Hernandez is the home plate umpire tonight. Brad Mills was out talking with him after the top of the inning. It's 2-1. Mike Estabrook at first, Chad Fairchild at second, Bill Miller at third on this umpiring crew. Norris looks at ball 3. You picked up on that pace early from both these pitchers. Nice pace.
Wouldn't it be ironic if the first walk he issues to a right-handed batter all year is the opposing pitcher?
That's it.
How about that?
Crazy. Leadoff walk to the pitcher, the first all here to a right-handed batter, and Patty Smith has more.
Well, guys, I want to introduce you to our progressive fans of the game. I've got 4 girls up here who are really doing their part. Of course, it is Pink in the Park out here this weekend. The first 10,000 fans got this pink bag, but there's a whole lot more that is going on surrounding all this pink stuff. And I know you guys are doing a lot of stuff at your school as well, aren't you?
Yes, our teacher, Miss Caldwell, has started a charity league called Peace, Love, and Charity in our school where we raise money and awareness for breast cancer.
Yeah, she's really just inspired us to do our part, and we love her so much. We couldn't have asked for a better teacher.
I know you guys did a Pink in the Park walk as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, our whole school and our whole community has participated in the Paint the Path Pink Walk, and it's just over the 4 years we've raised over $100,000, and it's just inspired us all about how much breast cancer is, like how important breast cancer is.
And I know this is very special to you because you were the one that got to cut the ribbon. You lost your mother to breast cancer recently, and I know she was a big Astros fan. How important is all this to you for her?
Yeah, I'm just really happy to see that people can just come out and support breast cancer and raise money. It's just, I know she would be happy to see everyone come out.
All right, you guys do a great job. You're all an inspiration. You guys are progressive fans of the game. It's girls like this who are keeping the awareness going, guys.
There's a shot off the leg of Jason G. Throws to first base. Safe. Michael Bourne has made it. Bourne with an infield hit off Dylan G's leg. And Michael smacked that through the box. Bud Norris getting to second base. Now they're going to come out and take a look at Dylan G's leg.
Let's see where it got him. He's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Up on the backside. Should be fine. There'll be a bruise. A couple days from now, it'll be multi-hued.
Well, he scrambled. He made a strong throw, but
a lot of other guys are out, but not Michael Bourne. And for the Astros, who went single walk single to start the bottom of the second and came up empty, right back at it again here in the third. The first two men reaching. Now it's 2-3-4 coming up.
38 pitches for Dylan G. Clint Barmas hit the first pitch to right field for an out in the first inning. Hunter Pence is on deck. Showing bunt with the first baseman Murphy coming in. He takes it and it's ball one. Barmas has hit safely in 6 of his last 8, but looks like a bunt here.
Give him a swing right here.
It's wide open. He pops up the bunt off the screen.
He kind of jabbed at it.
1-1.
A lot of times when you have your pitcher on second base in a situation like this, you don't want to bunt because you don't think the pitcher is either athletic enough or has been on base enough to feel comfortable getting the proper jump down there. Bud's a good athlete. Bud runs well, so that's not a major concern here.
He chops one through the left side of the infield. It's wide open spaces there with Reyes there behind Norris near second. David Wright's in tight at third. Balk is called, and that helps the Astros cause. Now he won't have to bunt as G has blocked the runners along. Norris to third, Bourne to second. Chad Fairchild with a call from second.
A little rocking motion he did once he came set.
First balk that's been called on G this year. That changes the complexion of the inning quite a bit. Second and third, nobody out. The Mets are going to play the infield back with a 1-1 count. Armas was trying to lean into that one, and he took it for a strike. 1-2. St. Louis got 3 in the fourth at Cincinnati.
G all over that strike zone. Down and away, up and in.
He got that one in a good spot, and he wound up with a strikeout. Number 2 for him. Exactly what he needed.
Another example of a hitter in an RBI situation, going out of the zone, going out of his game a little bit to try to get that run home. Now G can pitch cautiously with Hunter here, knowing that if he walks him, he'll have the double play in order with Carlos up there, and that would be the prudent strategy, I think, the way Hunter's been swinging it. I'm saying you can't throw him strikes, but if I'm G, I spend as little time in the strike zone as possible in this particular confrontation. I'm trying to get in to hit my pitch just off the edge away or try to run one in on his hands.
That's ball one. Gets stopped by Tolley. Well, Hunter worked his way ahead in the count actually the first time up, and then he hit a line drive to left on a 2-2 pitch. Now he's ahead again here on 1-0. Might very well stay ahead because of the points that you raised, JD. Hitter's always got to be ready for a mistake. That one runs in for ball 2, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, G, there's some pitchers they don't have good enough command of their stuff, and I haven't seen a lot of G, but the little bit I've seen and what I've read, you trust him in this situation to pitch cautiously. Some guys you say, hey, pitch around him, and they end up throwing one right down the middle, and you're in the dugout scratching your head going, what was that? You want to, if the idea is to pitch around a hitter, you pitch the entire sequence as if you're no balls and 2 strikes and you're trying to get him to chase your pitch.
Now 3-0.
Even on 3-0. If the game plan was to pitch around him, you don't alter it on 3-0.
So no intentional ball 4 here. Curve comes in for a strike. That's a tough pitch.
And that's almost a freebie because a hitter 3-0 is either taking all the way or he's looking for a fastball. If you can drop that hook in there, you can get strike one.
Little roller goes foul.
This, you know, we talk a lot about good at bats. This is really impressive what G is doing here in the sequence. Now the question is, now you've got 3 balls and 2 strikes. And this is why I know I've run into this problem too. Now you're out there on the mound, you go, I can make a pitch. I can finish him off right here.
And he can too. The last 2 pitches he's made.
But the fear is, you know, do you get a little too aggressive?
Whoa!
Tried to overthrow that curveball. He's trying to go. I'm sure he's trying to go away with that breaking ball, hoping he could get him to chase. Squirted out of his hand.
Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, is on his way. G threw a total of 3 balls in the first inning. That's one of 20 he has thrown since then.
Now he's walking right-handed hitters like crazy. That's 2.
Yep. That curveball, a bit of a problem for him. If it's there, and it was a couple times on Hunter, it is a demonic pitch, but then that one just slipped on him.
And that's, you know, sometimes you're thinking, okay, now if I throw my nasty curveball, I can strike him out, and you try to kind of yank on it, you try to ask too much of yourself, and you end up throwing a bad one.
Now the bases are loaded for Carlos Lee, who singled to left field in the second inning. When Lee gets 2 more hits, he will be the 9th active player to have 2,000 hits and 300 homers. Brett Wallace on deck. That's strike 1 call for Dylan G. First place St. Louis got 3 in the 4th and leads Cincinnati after 5, 3-0. With the Tony La Russa imposter on the mound tonight, Kyle Loesch. Huge foul.
He's a Tony La Russa imposter?
He took the lineup card out for the game with the Cubs wearing La Russa's jersey.
Oh.
Sunglasses yesterday.
Nice.
Oh, they had a great time with that on the Cardinal bench. Out into right center field. Beltran will make a catch. Here's the tag. And the front 2 runners move up. It's 1-0 as Bud Norris scores on the sac fly by Lee. And behind him, Michael Bourne goes from second to third. 21st run batted in for Lee.
All right, let's take a look pitch by pitch. G gets strike 1 at the top of the zone with a fastball away. A little cut fastball fouled off, and then probably got too much of the plate for his liking with that 3rd offering 0-2. Especially given that it was in the same exact spot roughly as the last 2. They went fastball away, cutter away, cutter away. If the hitter 3 looks in the same direction, you're asking for solid contact.
Runners at first and third for Wallace.
But imagine if you're Dan Warthen and Terry Collins in the Mets dugout, you're good with that. Give up a run for an out early in the ball game.
Yeah.
Just to avoid that big crooked number. So that puts a little extra on this AB for Brett.
Rolls over on it. Ground ball Murphy. Out number 3. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 men left. 1-0 Astros after 3. Have the most stolen bases in the National League since 2008.
Meep, meep.
Yeah. And now it's Reyes who led off the game with a single to right. Then he was picked off first, coming around for the second time. And showing bunt that time. He dances out of the way and looks at ball one. These guys really with extreme speed.
Yeah, Reyes due to be a free agent at the end of the year, so trade rumors have started to percolate around New York and around Reyes. And that's with some significant financial issues, so a lot of people think that they would almost be forced to trade Reyes as opposed to letting him walk as a free agent, but I'm not so sure that that's the case.
It's an interesting thing to ponder, though. It's this one in the air, and that's exactly what the Astros like to see. Bill Hall has it. On a 2-0 count, he's retired, 1 out. It may be more for reasons, if they do trade Reyes, of competition for the future than financial reasons, because the Mets don't have much of AAA right now, and there is a school of thought that they are better off shopping the veteran players they have right now.
Yeah, if they can get the right package, that's what I mean. I think if you're the Mets right now, you listen to anything and everything, and you take nobody off the table. There seems to be this idea that they have to move Reyes, but you don't shake a tree and get players like Jose Reyes. He's 28 years old, and well, he can do a lot of things.
Sure can.
At a premium position.
Coley lines to third, caught by CJ. And then who's going to play shortstop if he's not around?
Yeah. Bud Harrelson? Kevin Elster? Get him out of retirement?
2 outs. And it's David Wright who bounced into a double play. Wright, one of those homegrown players, first round pick in 01. 28 years old, from Norfolk, Virginia.
The interesting thing to watch with the Mets is their closer, Francisco Rodriguez, has a vesting option for $17.5 million if he finishes 55 ball games this year. And the Mets not likely to be in the race, so it'd be interesting to see how he's used the second half of the season.
Well, Terry Collins has said it won't affect his managing, and he's on a pace to do that right now. And they're in last place.
I just think it's absurd that they would pay him $17 million next year.
He's made 17 appearances. We'll have to see how many games he's finished this year. 3-1. He's finished 13.
That'll be the meter they'll be running at the ballpark at Citi Field, the K-Rod games finished meter.
Yeah. And there's a 2-out walk to Wright, and that's the second walk of the game. But for instance, you bring in your closer at home in the 9th inning. He gives up a run. You score. You go to extra innings. You change pitchers. He didn't finish the game.
Yeah, so, I don't know how that's written.
Yeah. A lot of things can happen with that. Now Carlos Beltran, who lined out to right, is creating a little conversation at the mound. Beltran became the 8th Met to homer 3 times in a game. First play in the majors to do it this year.
All 3 of them 2-run shots.
Yeah, and they were all with Willie Harris on base. It's a good combination. Throw to first. In one of the articles, Willie Harris referred to Carlos Beltran as El Caballo, the horse. Do we have 2 El Caballos now?
Know.
Didn't know that was his nickname. Strike, and it's 1-1. Well, he could pull a heavy load, and when he was an Astro, as you well recall, once he got into postseason play, he was one of the most dynamic postseason players there has ever been. 8 home runs in that postseason of 04.
It didn't matter what you threw him. Up, down, in, out, hard, soft. He was on everything.
He was. Remember that one home run he hit here off Julian Taveras of the Cardinals?
Yeah, it was kind of like the pitch he hit last time up. Down, right? That Julian sinker down.
Yeah.
Change up, whatever it was. That funky runner down.
Sure was. Line drive, right field corner. Hunter Pence cuts it off on a bounce. Beltran is going to second. The throw looping in, and here's a stop sign at third. Well, Beltran winds up with a double, his 13th of the year, sending Wright to third base.
Now, when Beltran's got it going on, he looks like the best player in baseball. It's just amazing how graceful he is, the way he runs, the way he covers the outfield. He throws well, and when his bat speed is there, I mean, look at the bat speed he generates as he just buggy whips that thing into the right field corner. Hunter realizing there's a man on, he's just firing that thing, getting it back into the infield as quickly as possible so somebody's in position to make a play.
Now they work to Jason Bay, who struck out in the second inning. He lines one to left. Carlos Lee over, stretching and catching it. So 2 runs would have been able to score had he not held down to that one, but it's no runs a hit. 2 men stranded on the liner to lead. And the Astros still have the lead, 1-0. To keep the score 1-0 Houston. Now in the home 4th inning, it's Chris Johnson leading it off. He singled to left earlier. Dylan G delivers strike 1. That one is rung up as strike 2. It's Florida 4, Washington 4. They've played 6 in Washington. Lance Nix, a hot bat. He hit his 5th. That bouncer goes foul for David Wright. Gabby Sanchez belted number 7. John Buck his 5th, and Mike Stanton his 6th for Florida.
The Fish.
Fish are 21-15.
And that's with getting very little from Hanley Ramirez.
Good point. Oh, that's strike 3. Third strikeout for Dylan G. Time for a look at our Brown Hand Center. Great hands of the game. Carlos Lee in left field. Runners at second and third. Line shot. Could have been a 2-run double. Instead, it's out number 3.
Yeah, there's El Caballo. Well, you know, the fact that he plays so deep really pays off on balls like that. And he plays deep relative, you know, because the fence is so short. It allows him to play deep left field, knowing the ball gets over him. A lot of them he's able to hold hitters to singles because he plays the carom so well. But playing as deep as he does, he gets better angles on balls like that.
He just cut straight over toward the line. Bill Hall fouled that one. He is commanding that outside corner.
So, as a pitcher, you need an inning like that every now and then. Bud gave up a walk and 3 rockets there in the 4th, and Mets failed to score.
Nuri Rodriguez sits alongside Bud. Curveball works for a strikeout. That's 4.
That's the pitch he was trying to throw Hunter last inning. He threw behind his head.
Humberto Quintero, just from what we've read about Dylan G, and we're looking at him tonight for the first time, he could be one of those guys who just feels that he needs to have all of his pitches working to be successful.
You know, they had a pretty good right-hander a few years back. Who, no. They've had a lot of good right-handers. I'm thinking of Bobby Jones.
Oh. Yeah.
Who wasn't a real hard thrower, had a good curveball, and just knew how to pitch. He could locate.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what G is all about.
Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Like Tom Seaver or Dwight Gooden or one of those guys.
Exactly, one of those guys.
It has been a pitching-rich history there in the Queens.
It has been amazing. In the air and easily playable for David Wright or Jose Reyes. Reyes calls him off. Makes it a 1-2-3 fourth for Dylan G and a 1-0 lead for the Astros. Angel is
for the first time.
Watched a man walk on the moon.
See, that was what you're thinking. I'm thinking John Cougar Mellencamp. It was the summer of '69. I'm going a whole different direction with that one.
Maybe they went to see him.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not based on what he was doing.
All right.
Think it over.
We'll think it over. Daniel Murphy leads it off and takes strike 1. He grounded back to Bud Norris in the 2nd inning.
What did they do? Well, the Mets won the World Series.
Yeah. Nothing in common.
They both
there.
had their first winning years that year.
Yes. That's what we think, Patty Smith.
Well, I'll give you a hint. You're getting close.
We're only getting close.
Jimmy quit. Jody got married. Oh, that's my John Cougar reference again.
Brian Adams.
2 balls and a strike.
Isn't it Brian Adams?
Oh, you're right. That was Brian Adams.
Same genre, though. They're kind of related, musically related.
You're right. That was Brian Adams.
He got the ball, and she's digging through her bag for her phone so she can call somebody.
Takes a while to dig through that bag. Oh, she got it already. Not to call someone, but to take a photo.
Yeah.
Wade Robinson already texted in, of course, and said that was Brian Adams, not Mellencamp. See, more people are more interested in that than they are in the question itself.
That's right.
Of course. Or the game.
That's the beauty of this.
All right, I'm going to help you guys out a little bit. You were very close, but the answer was both teams had their first 500 seasons.
So now we can't officially call the Astros a winning season.
Well, 81 and 81.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct.
Gil Hodges was the manager for the Mets, and of course the Mets went on to win the World Series, as you said.
The Miracle Mets. I didn't realize they won 100 ball games that year. Wow.
Foul ball by Turner. He struck out in the 3rd.
That was in that movie, Oh God, George Burns said that his last miracle was the 69 Mets.
It was quite a run with those great pitchers you talked about. Some terrific defensive work. Not a whole lot of offense. No balls, 2 strikes for Bud Norris on Turner. Bud trying to get a game above 500 with win number 3 of the year. 2 Astros relievers share the club lead in wins. Brandon Lyon and Mark Melancon with 3. That's high for a ball, and it's 1-2. Red Sox and Yankees are tied 2-2. Bottom of the 6th at Yankee Stadium. Clay Buchholz is going for Boston. Adrian Gonzalez hit his 8th for the Sox. Change up hit in the air, and Hunter Pence is waiting in right for the 2nd out. That'll be Jason Friday coming up. Well, Hunter was all over the place in that Wednesday game, wasn't he? With the fielding plays, base running, and the game-winning hit. His talents were really on display Wednesday.
And that's why we got a nice crowd here today. But tennis has been down, but it's still fun, even if the home team's not doing a lot of winning, to come to the ballpark and just watch baseball and watch guys perform.
He put on a show. Strike 1 to Friday. Hustled that single into a double in the 7th inning.
The kids out say, "See, Junior, that's how you play the game."
You can do that with him. No balls, 2 strikes. Detroit leads Kansas City 3-1 after 7 in Detroit. Johnny Peralta hit his 5th. Austin Jackson number 3. Fastball is up for Bud, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. That fastball fouled away. Talking earlier, but the inning ended, about that story in USA Today projecting who might be the next pitcher to throw a no-hitter, and at the end of the article Bud Norris's name was mentioned, but they said it was incomplete because he hasn't completed a game yet in the majors. In the dirt, and it's 2-2.
That's kind of the amazing thing about this run of no-hitters the last couple of seasons, because there are so few complete games. And that's kind of the dilemma the managers are put in. The guys got the no-no going, and they let them extend a little bit beyond the norm.
Got him to chase the fastball. Friday strikes out. That's 5 for Bud Norris. And in the middle of the 5th inning, it's 1-0 Houston. because of a pickoff at first. Bud Norris very quick, and he picks off Jose Reyes, who led off the game with a single, and then he was erased on the Norris pickoff to Brett Wallace. Now Norris in the box takes strike one. Home fifth inning. Norris has scored the only run in this game after leading off the third inning with a walk. He scored on the Carlos Lee sac fly. Dylan G pounds it in for a strike, and it's no balls, 2 strikes now. G has thrown 66 pitches in this game. Fastball is up, and it's 1-2. There's the breakdown. Nice pace going, as you noted, very early. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He has not really varied from that pace.
No, that's what you like to see. You don't want to see a guy who's working quickly all of a sudden slam on the brakes when there's a couple of base runners.
3-2 now to Norris.
You want to be quick between pitches and work with a quick tempo. I shouldn't say you want to be. I mean, there are guys that work very slowly and are effective, but generally.
Line shot left field. Bay over, Bay slides, and he picks it. Well hit out number 1.
There's been some hard outs in this game on both sides. And that's a ball that sometimes gets to be a little bit of an issue for the left fielder with the lights. They'll be able to fight that one off, stay low, and pick it before it hit the dirt.
Very good play.
Dueling left fielders here tonight.
Michael Bourne is 1 for 2. Gets out of the way of the inside heater for ball 1. Showing bunt. Smacked one off the backside of Dylan G for a hit in the 3rd inning. After striking out in the 1st. G missed the target by a pretty good margin on that one to fall behind. 2 balls, no strikes. And then he pulled the string.
That's the equalizer. Yep, and he does. He likes it in hitters counts. He likes to throw that changeup, even or when he's even or behind in the count. He throws that changeup a high percentage of the time.
Ooh. 2-2. And he doubles up on it. Seattle's leading 4-2 at Cleveland in the top of the 9th inning. Ball strike 3.
Tell you what, he knows how to pitch.
He really
that
does.
Just really well done right there. He's throwing a lot of pitches on the corners, down at the bottom of the knees. Comes back to the inside corner. And how do you handle that pitch after those 2 great changeups? You got to respect the ability to throw the changeup away. And you see Michael just nodding, saying, "Yep, you got me. You made your pitch."
Clint Barmas with a fly ball and a strikeout comes around for the 3rd time. Looking at strike 1, this number 2 spot in the order could be different 5 days in a row for Brad Mills. He's just continuing to tinker, try to find something to work. When Jason Bourgeois was healthy, that Bourne-Bourgeois combination was lethal with speed at the top of the order.
One of the big reasons why Hunter Pence came into this game 3rd in the National League and runs batted in. Those 2 guys on base a lot, putting themselves in scoring position, scoring on doubles. Hunter tied for the league lead in doubles. Nice to have that speed at the top. Obviously they don't have that now with Jason hurt. Barmas was a guy way back this winter when they acquired him that Brad Mills thought would be a good fit in the 2-hole.
He hit second throughout spring training much of the time. One of 5 different number 2 hitters. Fouls that one back. Angel Sanchez has hit second more than anybody, 27 games, but now that he's not an everyday player, kind of a toss-up as to who might be in that number 2 spot on a given night for Brad Mills until something clicks. And the dirt ball 3.
And it may be too that he just doesn't really settle on a guy, but looks at the matchups. If Well, if Clint has had success against a certain pitcher or type of pitcher, he'd prefer to have him at the top of the order. If it's a guy he struggled against, he might hit him 7th or 8th and bump his catcher up to 2. Tolles his hit up there a little bit.
Varmus draws a walk. That's the 4th for G.
And we talk a lot about, you know, the responsibilities of a 2-hole hitter, especially with Bourne being the leadoff man, where you want to give him a chance to steal bases and things of that nature. But probably the most important thing is to have your good offensive players stacked up together. You know, your on-base guys in front of your RBI guys is paramount.
Hunter Pence lined to left, and he walked.
And now the Astros don't have enough of those kind of guys.
Right. Ball 1 to Hunter. The last Astro to have a longer hitting streak than Hunter's 15 games currently was Miguel Tejada, a 21-game streak to end the 09 season. Dylan G has reached his high for walks in a game this year. Previous high was 3. He's walked 4. He's fallen behind here 2-0.
The Astros are it's like crazy. The Astros walked like crazy in that game against Cincinnati on Wednesday. They drew what, 9 walks?
9. So uncharacteristic.
They don't walk.
Last in the league in walks. Fastball right there.
In the game against Cincinnati on Wednesday, it wasn't so much the Astros working walks. It was just the Reds, and in particular their starter, Edinson Volquez, was just crazy wild.
Yeah, he couldn't command his fastball.
Yeah, he was all over the place.
Secondary pitches were okay for strikes for him.
That's not the case with G. He's actually had pretty good command to the walks that the Astros have gotten that they've earned by being patient.
Hunter, who walked in the 3rd inning to load the bases. He had 3-0, but then the count went back to 3-2. Now he's a 2-2, so he's seeing a lot of pitches tonight. He went to 2-2 on his first at bat in the 1st inning. Throw goes over. So let's run the pitch count up for Dylan G with the combination of the 4 walks and the long counts. Some foul balls. Late swing by Hunter, and he's down on strikes. That's number 6 for Dylan G to end the 5th inning with the score still 1-0 Astros. Houston is brought to you by Whataburger, just like you like it. By AT&T, rethink possible. By Gullo, treating you like family. Beautiful night downtown Houston. Good ball game, 1-0 Astros. We go to the 6th inning, and pitcher Dylan G takes from Bud Norris. There's a fastball for strike 1. Ooh, almost a full moon.
That's a waxing moon.
Is it?
I have no idea.
Waxing and waning. 1 ball, 1 strike. G was caught looking in third. Bud Norris has thrown first pitch strikes to half the batters so far. It's a 2 ball, 1 strike delivery coming up for Bud. This is the final meeting of the year, this series between the two already. Popped up. And out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, as these teams meet now for the final 3-game series this season, there are ownership questions about both these clubs. Not only the Astros, which has been well documented, but the Mets apparently are about to sell a minority stake in their team. Expected to happen perhaps within the next couple of weeks. Maybe something like 25% of the Mets could be sold, maybe more than that.
Apparently they've got somebody, right? They have some money lined up.
Yeah, that's the thought, but according to some reports, we don't want to mention his name because he's a hedge fund guy and apparently he's under investigation.
Oh, really?
So yeah, there's some complication there.
I thought it was Cosmo Kramer.
No, it's not Cosmo.
He's always looking for something to do.
That's a strikeout looking number 6.
Hey, there's that magic number 6. He's gotten at least that many every time he's gone to the bump so far this year.
8 starts with 6 or more.
Not that that's a magic number or anything, but it's notable because of this. 8 consecutive starts with 6 or more. Nobody in franchise history has done that. And there's some pretty good strikeout pitchers on that list.
You bet. Including the all-time leader. Jose Reyes takes ball 1. Reyes 1 for 2, led off the game with a single. Norris hits the inside edge to make it a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Bud started the night with an ERA of 3.16. That's punched to left field. Carlos Lee. And then the second out.
Well, it's been 26,430 days since a major league pitcher has pitched back-to-back no-hitters. Johnny Vandermeer the last to do that. Justin Verlander took his shot tonight and he failed.
Really?
Yeah. Surprisingly, he did not pitch another no-hitter. But he's got a 3-1 lead and the Royals only have 3 hits.
Josh Tolley grounds to second. Bill Hall's there. And in the 6th inning, the Mets go down in order. That's 7 straight outs for Bud Norris and a 1-0 Houston lead.
Offer includes a game ticket and admission to the 1 p.m. wine and cheese event, including wine tasting and more. Visit Astros.com/wine for tickets. Sounds like a very fun way to start out the game, guys.
We'll have to make our way down there. We know where that's taking place.
We're not invited, JD.
We can crash.
Carlos Lee takes strike one. But we'll find out then.
I want to go.
Second inning.
I can whine.
Yeah, you got the wine part down.
Whine.
No balls, 2 strikes. Well, people can come early and get in line for the Chris Johnson bobblehead doll, which goes only to the first 10,000 fans, and then enjoy that wine and cheese part we talked about. Sounds like a plan. 3:05 game time tomorrow. Ripped off the glove of Wright into left field. A smash. Carlos Lee is 1 away from 2,000 hits.
Wow, he's had an eventful night, Mr. Lee. Base hit, sac fly, base hit, thrown out trying to score. Nice play, taking away a couple of runs from the Mets in left field. Energized after that off day.
Yes, he absolutely hammered that ball. Now Brett Wallace.
Can't get his batting gloves off in time, though. There we go. That moment of panic down there.
That one got him. And Dylan G's been trying to crowd him all night and crowded him a little bit too much that time and hit Brett Wallace with a pitch. There's a real art to pitching inside, JD, and a lot of guys just don't have that command to be able to avoid hitting a left-handed arrow.
And I think, I mean, with a guy like Wallace, you have to pitch him inside. That's where he's most vulnerable. But you got to me, I think you got to find a way to get strike one, whether you can flip up a curveball or something to get ahead, and get him where he's going to be a little bit more in swing mode, and then throw that fastball in on his hands and pop him up.
Pitching coach Dan Warthen out. Meanwhile, the Mets are stirring it up with Ryota Igarashi and Pat Mish. And G's normal pattern is to go 5 innings and change. So the Mets know they're at about that point now. 91 pitches for Dylan G. Probably will not ask a whole lot more from him. They want to be ready to make a move if need be.
It's all about trust, you know. And for the young players, just a handful of major league starts under his belt. Typically, what a manager does is, if you get me into the 6, 5+ innings, you're pitching pretty good. I'm looking for that first opportunity to go to the pen. And then the more you mature as a pitcher and pitch a little bit deeper in the games, the manager was like, well, I'm going to leave him out there and let him get out of this jam because I trust him more than those guys that I've got out in my bullpen right now.
He went 6 innings 2 starts ago against Arizona, gave up 2 earned runs. Wants the signs again. That's
why I'm never a big fan of these front of the rotation guys when they give you 6 innings and they say, well, I gave my team a chance to win. Well, if you're the top of the rotation guy, you're supposed to be doing better than giving your team a chance to win. You're supposed to be going deep into a game and winning games, shutting people down.
True.
If you're making $17 million or whatever the going rate is for the major league aces these days.
That is for a lot of them. 1-1 to count on CJ. He's 1 for 2. Dylan G has gone at least 5 1/3 in all 8 of his major league starts. CJ fouls it, and El Cid did that in '84. He went 5 1/3, gave up no more than 3 earned runs in 8 straight starts. Armando Reynoso had 11 in a row in '97, at the start of his career, and Al Leiter had 14 in '98.
Sid Fernandez.
Sid Fernandez,
one of the toughest pitchers to hit in major league history.
He was.
You look at the batting average against.
That's right.
He's among the best in history.
He was just hard to pick up, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't give up a lot of hits. He gave up some walks and some long balls.
He had that crisp fastball, but the way he swung his arm around, he hit the ball extremely well.
Pushed it up there.
Right. A slow curve. Line shot left field corner. Lee is being sent home to make it 2-0. Wallace to third. RBI double for Johnson. 14th run batted in for Johnson. That's double number 7.
CJ needed a good night in the worst way, and he has delivered 2 hits tonight. And then that RBI double looked like a changeup, and not in a good spot for a changeup. CJ made him pay the price.
Terry Collins is coming out. have been 2 of those line drives in the inning. Carlos hit the first one, and Brett Wallace hit by the pitch in between. So that will signal the end of the evening for Dylan G. from Cleburne, Texas, and UT Arlington with the score 2-0 Houston. Back in a moment. A 2-0 lead. Now they hope for a big inning here. Mets fans have seen Dylan G. pitch well for a while, but now as he has left, there are runners at second and third, and Ryota Igarashi takes over on the mound.
He's worked 12 games at the big league level this year, 2-0 with a 4.15 ERA. Called up early in the season from the AAA club in Buffalo, New York. Igarashi pitches this season at the age of 32. Pitched last year for the Mets, his first year stateside.
Right-handed hitters are managing a measly 158 average against Igarashi. Pitched against the Astros at New York on April 19th. Gave up 2 hits and 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Bill Hall steps in against him, having grounded out and struck out tonight.
Control is a problem for Igarashi. It was last year. It is again this year. Make sure you get a strike. That been a strike.
Yep. Dylan G threw 96 pitches. Mets bullpen has really been nailing it lately. 19 1/3 consecutive shutout innings pitched. Will score Wallace to make it 3-0. Stop for Johnson. RBI single. Hall, his 11th run batted in.
The Astros had a chance in the second to put a crooked number on the board, failed to score. Again in the third, had a big opportunity, left 2 men on and had to settle for a singleton. Now putting the hits together with men on base, and this is where they've really been good this year. Runners in scoring position, they have excelled.
.290 is their team batting average with men in scoring position. Hall is at first. Across the diamond, Johnson. Quintero the batter. Q is 0 for 2. 2 pop-ups to shortstop. He looks at ball 1. Bud Norris on deck.
That run charged to G, as with Chris Johnson if he comes home to score here. Nobody out. He better score.
Sails high. 2-0 to Q. Astros with 3 runs on 6 hits. The Mets no runs on 2 hits. Red Sox just got 3 in the top of the 7th at New York to lead the Yankees 5-2. Bottom of the 7th now. Kevin Youkiel has hit his 6th. Clay Buchholz starting for Boston.
Boy, you talk about a funky delivery. We were talking about Sid Fernandez earlier, how he used to kind of push the ball towards home plate. And not the same mechanics as El Cid, but he pushes it up there as well. Really a short arm, and keep that arm kind of tight to his body and pushes it towards home plate.
Had Tommy John surgery in 07. Astros living up to their billing with men in scoring position tonight.
The delivery that he has looks like it would be really stressful on the shoulder.
Yeah. Pitch in tight on him. The appeal went to first, no swing. Mike Estabrook with a ruling. It's 3-1.
No, it didn't go. Didn't even go. Don't even bother asking. I got this. I'll call it myself. It's like pick up basketball. Call your own fouls. I didn't go. Trust me, we work together back here. Mass Square and Union. We're in this together.
Fouled away by Humberto. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nice to be out on a Friday night.
Minute Maid Park, where heroes are born nightly.
There's the epitome of a guy having a great time.
Yeah. Stay with it. Good concentration. Finish the catch in traffic. And then the exultation.
Rangers lead the Angels 3-1. They played 5 in Arlington. Elvis Andrus hit his 2nd home run. 3-2 pitch coming to Quintero with a pitcher on deck and nobody out.
Just stay out of the double play.
And it gets through. It's 4-0. Murphy failed to come up with it. Quintero shot the ball toward the first baseman, but went on through on an error by Murphy, his 3rd of the year, into right field.
Sharply hit. Had he fielded it, they might have been able to get 2. Certainly would have gotten it out somewhere, but Chris Johnson jogs home with the Astros' 4th run. Q gets an RBI, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Can't assume a double play.
Nope. RBI number 8.
We'll close the book on G.
Yeah, he didn't get any help from Igarashi at all with his ERA, leaving the 2 men on base who later scored. So 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs for Dillon. Walking forward, fanning 6. He hit a batter.
Pre-game show at 2:30 tomorrow. 3:05 first pitch. Mets and Astros. That's an odd time, so check us out if you can't come out to the ballpark tomorrow afternoon. Tune in and we'll have some fun.
It's an odd time, but a good time, JD. Bud Norris walked and scored. Then he lined to left. Squaring, swinging, ground ball. Wright doesn't have a play at second. Nobody there. He goes to first. Gets a tag play there from Murphy. And there was a lot of action on that ground out from 5-3 for out number 1.
You could just feel the frustration of David Wright, thinking I've got this ball hit to me so quickly. I've got an easy double play. But they're defending the bunt, so the second baseman's got to cheat to cover first base, and by the time he gets a second, there's no option. He's got to unload quickly to get the out at first. He looked like a quarterback looking at all his options. He's looking downfield, nothing. Finally has to dump it off to the fullback out of the backfield.
Murphy with a tag on Norris. First option there at second, but he didn't have a second baseman there covering. The play from 5-3 is an out for Norris, but he advances Hall and Quintero. 4-0 Houston back in a moment.
Texans did. They aim to shore up their defense, selecting defensive players with 6 of their 8 draft picks. Get full analysis of these players, plus see where exactly they'll fit into the Texans' plans on Texans Huddle Draft Recap Monday at 10 p.m. only on Fox Sports Houston, guys.
Thanks, Patty.
I think it was Peter King in Sports Illustrated said that the Texans had more at stake with this lockout than any other franchise.
Really?
Yeah. They haven't been to the postseason in so long and things of that nature.
Changing defenses with Wade Phillips. Yeah. Pat Mish in one game has an ERA of 4.5 in 2 innings. He was recalled from Buffalo 5 days ago. Was with the Mets earlier this year for only 2 days. Now the infielders come in, and it's Michael Bourne, who's 1 for 3. This is a pattern we've seen. Lefty reliever comes in to face Michael Bourne. Several managers have done that this year. There's ball 1. But Michael in that Cincinnati series had a couple of hits in one game against lefties. Got one off Bill Bray. And the other one off the starter Wood.
Terry Collins has a couple more lefties at his disposal, including Tim Burdack. So he can use Mish here against Bourne and still have a couple more to call on later on if he wants.
Sharply hit. Good play by Murphy, but can he get him? Yes. Here's a throw to the plate, and Hall is out. So the Astros really run into a problem there. Hitting into a double play to end the innings. They had a productive inning with 3 runs on 3 hits with an error. They leave a man. But the Mets turn 2, 4-0. It's brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. In a game between the Indians and Yankees, teams featured numbers on the backs of their jerseys for the first time.
Numbers were in line with where they batted in the batting order. So that's why Babe Ruth was number 3, Lou Gehrig number 4, and so on.
Carlos Lee in left field. He's got 2 hits tonight. He scored a run, drove in a run. We go to the 7th inning, and Bud Norris delivers ball 1.
Friday the 13th tonight, by the way, in case you're superstitious.
David Wright is grounded into a double play and walked. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Well, with a lot of baseball teams, guys will not take the number 13. Some hotels do have a 13th floor, though. 3 balls, no strikes. Most do not.
No 13th row in the theater?
Not sure about that. 3-1. But what about this? If you're on the 14th floor, it's really the 13th floor. So how do you justify that in your mind if you're superstitious? 3-2.
Stay at a different hotel. You stay at a hotel that has a 13th floor and just don't stay on that floor.
Have you played with any guys who are really, really superstitious?
Yeah, but mostly people are just creature of habits and don't want to get out of the routine more than crazy superstitious.
7 strikeouts for Norris. Just blew the fastball by Wright again.
If you're going good, you wear the same T-shirt, things of that nature. The Wade Boggs was an extreme example where he had to come out and stretch at the same time every night. Had to eat his chicken every day.
Carlos Beltran is lined to right and lined to double to right. Strike one to him.
It's funny though, we would always say, no, I'm not really superstitious, but you would still do all those things that superstitious people do. You don't step on the chalk line when you take the field or when you leave the field.
True. 1-1. The last Met to hit 3 homers in a game before Carlos yesterday was Jose Reyes in 06 at Philadelphia. Edgardo Alfonso did it against the Astros in the Astrodome in '99.
What a good hitter he was.
Yeah, he was. Slider stays up, and it's 2-1. Slider's been a really reliable pitch for Bud the last few starts. Tonight he might be throwing his fastball a higher percentage than he has been. Seems like he has anyway. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I really can't tell. To me, he's gotten away with some stuff up in the zone tonight.
Yeah.
But that's okay. He's got his big fat 0 up there on the scoreboard.
Bounce foul. Good Friday night crowd. Tomorrow it's a battle of the initials R.A. Dickey and J.A. Happ, although he prefers to go by J.
So we'll call R.A. Ray tomorrow.
Okay.
Just to stay in line.
Swing and a miss at a pitch in the turf. That's 8 strikeouts.
Nothing bad, but that slider was down. And early in the count, he threw slider up, and then going for the strikeout, he threw that dive bomber. Inducing a pretty ugly hack off a hitter who's really hot. 3 home runs yesterday and a couple bullets so far tonight, but this time Bud wins the battle.
Jason Bay is struck out in line to left. Bay takes ball 1. Mets won 2 of 3 in Colorado. They had to switch hotels before yesterday's game because they were supposed to have moved on, and because of a rainout they had to make up a game. 86 pitches for Norris.
It doesn't happen when Barry Waters is your traveling secretary.
Never. 2-1. Have you remembered to get your passport ready for the next trip?
Got it right here in my bag, Browning.
Beautiful. 3-1. That'll be the oddity about this next road trip for the Astros. They wind up in Toronto. Start out in Atlanta with 2 and go to St. Louis for 2. Fastball cracked high to left field. Goodbye. Watch that one. That one left the building. Jason Bay hits number 2 of the season. An absolute no-doubter. May have wound up on Halliburton Plaza.
The Astros have seen Jason Bay inflict a lot of damage on them over the years when he was wearing a Pirate uniform. And the situation here with Bud was pretty much at the mercy of the count. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. You just got to be aggressive, be willing to throw one in there, and hope he pops it up. But he got on the backside of that one.
Oh, didn't he? Murphy fouls it as Bay has made it a 4-1 ball game. There's strike 1 to Murphy. He's grounded to the pitcher and struck out. Mets get their 32nd long ball of the year. Good changeup there. Makes it 0-2. Prior to that, the Mets had hit 8 homers in May, 5 by Carlos Beltran. It's 1-2 to Murphy.
And home run broke a run of 9 consecutive retired by Bud. Just one. No biggie. Still have a 3-run lead.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Bud has kept the long balls under control. That's the 6th he has allowed. About 48 innings of work for Bud. He's at 93 pitches now. Little tap back to Bud. And a flip to Wallace takes care of the 7th inning for New York. 1 run, 1 hit. Bay's homer breaks up a shutout bid. The Astros lead it 4-1.
To Minute Maid Park. Follow the Astros with MLB.com at Bat11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. It's Clint Barmas leading it off. 4-1 Astros. Pat Mish delivers, and it's ball 1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Barmas is 0 for 2 with a walk. 28,791 is the paid attendance. That one fouled away. Just look down at a shot of the Astros bench between innings. Jason Michaels has rejoined the club. He's down there after a minor league injury rehab assignment, coming back from a left shoulder injury. Soft fly ball behind third. Wright giving chase, turning and foul ground, and he snags it. 1 out.
How come he didn't barehanded? Remember that play he made a few years back?
Yeah, that's right.
It's one of the better plays you're ever going to see. This is a good play, too. It's not an easy play at all. Wasn't in the air all that long, so Reyes couldn't get over there and bail him out. J-Mike, he'll take credit. Even if he doesn't get in that bat in this game, if the Astros win, he'll say, just by the virtue of my return, we won this game.
Changed the karma. He went 6 for 20 at Oklahoma City in 5 games. Popped up by Hunter Pence. His hitting streak will not be extended on this at bat. Well, could have been if that pop up had been dropped, but totally caught it.
There was
2
a fair
outs.
amount of drama on that.
It really was. So Hunter, well, depends on how the game goes. He might not get another at bat tonight to extend that 15-game streak. Carlos Lee, though, has had 2 hits and a sac fly. He can get number 2,000 out of the way right here with a hit. And the drama on that. To get Jason Michaels back onto the Astros club, Joe Inglet was outrighted to Oklahoma City. And Nelson Figueroa had been outrighted. So those two could choose free agency rather than to report. Figueroa has chosen to report to Oklahoma City. We don't know yet about Inglet. It's 1-1.
I imagine his agent is furiously working the phones, talking to other clubs, seeing what's out there.
Over first base, but foul, and that'll bounce near the seats for a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Florida 5, Washington 5. They're in the bottom of the 9th in our nation's capital. Nationals are hanging in there, 1 game under 500. St. Louis 5, Cincinnati 4, bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati.
Nationals are going to be an interesting club in a couple of years. A lot of young talent, of course, most notably Steven Strasburg, who's hurt right now, and then the phenom they drafted last year, Harper. But they have a lot of other talented young players, both at the big league level and in the farm system.
Soft fly ball goes to Wright. Beltran moving in, but the second baseman has it covered. And it's Turner who takes care of out number 3 to end the 7th inning with a score 4-1 Houston. Has not pitched more than 8 innings in a major league game. He's ready for inning number 8. This is the way the game started after a single and a pickoff, JD.
Yeah, and then Bud had to pick off with his quick feet, and then he's relied heavily on that powerful right arm to do the rest of the work for him. Got that strikeout pitching going again tonight. Good heater, hard slider, occasional changeup. That's not really been able to mount many threats against him at all. Had some really good swings at him in the 4th. But aside from that, just the Bay home run.
Strike 1 to Turner. Turner has struck out and flied to right. 8 strikeouts with 2 walks for Bud. Only 3 hits allowed and 1 run. Longest major league outing, 8 innings at St. Louis. May 13th, 2010.
Keep a close eye on him now as the pitch count gets up closer to 100 pitches. Good thing here is he's down working towards the bottom of the order. Just in case things get a little dicey, there is action in the bullpen. Fernando Abad is throwing out there. There's the right-hander up as well. Fulchino, I believe.
He was up earlier, getting loose. No balls, 2 strikes, remains the count, but throwing at 94 still. Fulchino is on your left. And Abad.
And you see Mark Melancon stretching that shoulder.
Grounded and diving Johnson, unable to prevent that one from going through for a single by Turner.
And that's what happens with these guys late in the game. They start to throw out there. They're kind of going at a certain pace, and all of a sudden there's a base hit, and they maybe pick up the pace a little bit. Heart starts to beat a little faster.
Friday is 0 for 2, a pop up and a strikeout. 99 pitches for Bud.
That's why it's nice to have a veteran like Jamie Quirk out there in the pen. He's certainly aware of the game situation, and he'll let the guys know whether they need to kind of quicken their pace or back off.
Snap throw to first. Safe. Pitch was up and in. Quintero has 2 pickoffs this year. Norris has thrown 116 pitches twice this year for a high. Gets a strike there to even the count at 1-1. With the pitcher's spot due up next.
Former Astro lookalike right there. That one camera angle, that one look we had. Little Paul Bacco working.
Okay. Yeah.
Bacco with a beard.
Phillies 4, Atlanta 4. They've played 7 in Atlanta. Ryan Howard hit his 9th for the Phils.
The Astros may catch a break in Atlanta because Jason Hayward is injured. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing.
He may not. Right shoulder. He's been getting treatment.
Good for the Astros, not so good for fans. He's a fun guy to watch play.
He really is. Tremendous talent. Fly ball left. Carlos Lee pursues it near the line. Long run for him. He gets there and makes the catch. 1 out. Now we'll see a pinch hitter.
Carlos. The horse has been running all night long. Getting ready for the Preakness.
Pat Mish went 1 2/3 innings, allowed no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts, and he's leaving now for a pinch hitter. Meanwhile, they gather at the mound, and Brad Arnsberg comes out. It's Fernando Martinez, a lefty hitting outfielder.
Here comes the refresher course from Arnie on how to pitch to Martinez.
Martinez was at Buffalo hitting .292 there with 3 homers and 7 runs batted in 19 games. Came up and made his season debut yesterday at Colorado. Popped out as a pinch hitter. He was recalled when Ike Davis went on the DL. 103 pitches for Norris.
Martinez is a guy that regarded as one of their top prospects, but at the big league level so far has not had much success. But he's only 22 years of age.
Strike 1 to Martinez.
Lifetime 173 hitter in the big leagues. That's 110 at bats worth.
Signed out of the Dominican for a $1.2 million bonus in 05. High drive right field. That's going to be a 2-run homer for Fernando Martinez into that second deck. Second major league homer for Fernando Martinez. Now it's 4-3.
Gulp.
A pinch home run. Second for the Mets this year.
Well, is it like the 4th or 5th pinch home run the Astros have given up this year?
Yes.
That's kind of a crazy number. It's a changeup that's up. And you get a good look at it there.
That's number 4 in the pinch hit home run surrender department for Houston.
Met fan sitting up there. Ball was hit right to him and he couldn't make the play.
Well, the Mets they've come back on 2 long balls now after trailing 4-0. Bay with a long drive in the 7th inning, and now this 2-run homer, and that one also very, very well struck.
So he did get the ball.
Jose Reyes looks at it. It's a strike. And it's 1-2 to him.
This is one of those games that now it's a one-run game, and you start to look back on the opportunities that the Astros squandered. And that two men thrown out of home plate tonight, left a couple of guys on in the second, a couple in the third, innings in which you expected to get more the way things were developing. So now it falls on Bud and the bullpen to keep the Mets at bay here.
Wallace, Johnson, and Hall are due up in the last of the 8th for the Astros. Now it's 3-2. Josh Tolle on deck.
Tough decision for Brad Mills because his bullpen has really struggled this year. Otherwise, he probably would have made the move already. Imagine he's going to make it now.
Now a walk. And Reyes representing the potential tying run, a threat to steal. Quintero out to the mound. Tolle the batter. And now Brad Mills will come out. 111 pitches for Bud Norris. He was really something until the 7th inning. He had retired 9 in a row until the Bay home run. And now he's out of this ball game with a 4-3 lead. We'll be right back. And the Astros trying to hold off the Mets, who have gotten a 2-run pinch homer here in the 8th inning to make it 4-3. Jeff Fulcino has come out of the Astros bullpen with Josh Tolle set to hit next. Fulcino's been on a very nice run lately. He has 4 holds and an ERA of 2.81.
20th time Big Jeff has gone to the mound this year, and it's been a while. He did not pitch in that Cincinnati series. Scoreless baseball the last 5 times he's gone to the hill. He had a bod ready if he wanted to bring a bod in for Tolle, but opted for Fulcino instead.
Tolle is 0 for 2 with a walk, and the move goes to first on Reyes. Reyes was picked off by Bud Norris in the 1st inning. He's stolen 12 bases in 15 tries. That's ball 1. Reyes was kind of scurrying off first base, sizing up the situation. It's 1-0. This could be a good running count for him. David Wright's on deck. The Mets as a team have stolen 33 bases in 43 attempts. time call. They play in that big ballpark, Citi Field in New York, so running is a big part of what they do offensively. They're not a power laden club, and now without their first baseman Ike Davis, who was their best hitter, they figured to try to get some runs going with steals along the way. Totally looks at it. It's 2-0 now.
And that's the thing with Reyes over there at first base. Not only is he a threat to steal, but you can shake up the pitcher a little bit. You try to hasten your delivery and you start to leave the ball up.
Reyes has a terrific percentage in his career, 80%. Fly ball to center. Michael Bourne waiting. Fulchino gets Tolley. 2 outs. Now David Wright. Wright is 0 for 2 with a walk. Norris has been able to blow fastballs by David tonight. Fulchino pitched in one of the games in New York. That was an Astros 6-1 win. He went 1 inning, didn't give up a run. Back on the 19th of April. Closed out that game.
I got to be careful here, obviously. Wright, even though he's not having a good year, is dangerous. Got good off-field power.
Quintero gets a chance if that pitch pulls him out to the right at all. He's usually looking to throw to first with a runner there.
Decision time now for Terry Collins. Does he turn Reyes loose?
Ball fouled away, and it's 1-1.
A guy like Reyes has the green light, I'm sure, almost all the time, and then sometimes they'll put a don't go sign on. They just don't want to risk an out on the bases. They want to see the hitter hit. Other times they'll try to communicate with the base runner. Not only do you have the green light, we really want you to go. That's sometimes guys with the green light, they don't go, and you're wondering, come on, man, let's go.
Yeah. Wright lays off.
To some managers over the years, they've been frustrated because it seems like base stealers in today's game, you can't give them that "you must go" sign. It's almost like there's no such thing as a steal sign. So you've got the green light. If you get a jump, go. And then when they're questioned afterwards, why didn't you take that base? I just didn't feel good about my jump. I didn't. So you trust the player, but there are times when, as a manager, you're willing to take that risk.
Terry Collins' club, a 17-20 record, trying to come from behind and win this one. Brad Mills Astros led 4-0. Now it's a 1-run edge. Deep drive to left field. It's hooking, headed for the seats, and that's a 2-run homer for David Wright. Third long ball of the night for the Mets, and they've grabbed the lead, 5-4. Home run number 6 for Wright, giving him 18 runs batted in.
Like a hanging slider, hanging something. A couple sloppy pitches in this inning. Bud made a mistake with the changeup, and now Jeff with kind of a breaking ball or off-speed pitch that hung and stayed up for David Wright. And he hooked it into the Crawford boxes.
Now Carlos Beltran pops it up foul. He has a double in 3 trips. Bud Norris in 7 1/3 innings allowed 5 hits, 4 runs with 3 walks, 8 strikeouts.
That's one of those you just lose sleep over this kind of a game. He was in complete control through 2 outs in the 7th, had not given up a run.
David Wright snapped an 0 for 20 in New York against the Astros with a homer off Jay Happ. In tight. 1-2 to Beltran. Earlier this year, Wright delivered a game-winning RBI in the 10th inning. That was the 89th game-winning RBI of his career, tying him with Mike Piazza for the all-time lead on the Mets. Swing and a miss by Beltran. He strikes out, but the Mets have turned this game around, coming up with 4 in the 8th inning to lead it 5-4. Balls, 1 in the 7th inning and 2 in the 8th. They scored 4 in the 8th, and now they're up by 1 as Taylor Buchholz, the former Astro, has come out of the Mets bullpen to work the bottom of the 8th inning. He's 1-1. His ERA is 1.42, and he has a very good strikeout to walk ratio of 21-6. He's allowed 3 home runs.
Since leaving Houston, he has turned into a pretty darn dependable relief pitcher. He's had some injury problems that have held him back, but when healthy, he's been very good.
Pitched twice against the Astros in the series at New York. A total of 3 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball for Taylor. He didn't walk anybody in those 2 appearances. And now he's in a situation to get a hold. Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod, is the closer for the Mets. David Wright has just given them this opportunity to protect a lead with his go-ahead 2-run homer in the top of the 8th.
Pitchers of record now, Fulcino and Mish.
Red Wallace has been on twice. He's 0 from 1. He's walked. He's been hit by a pitch and scored. Buchholz with the fastball falls behind 1-0. Mish working 1 2/3 of hitless, scoreless baseball. That's a shot by Wright into left field. Hard hit ball by Wallace for a leadoff single here in the 8th inning. Wright almost caught it. He was playing him in a spot which allowed him to try to make a play.
Yeah, the positioning was fine, but the ball just was hit so hard.
It was a real cannon shot. Hit number 7 for the Astros. The Mets have 6. Here's Chris Johnson. CJ with a couple of hits, 1 an RBI double. And there's strike 1 from Buchholz. Slowed it down on CJ.
When the Astros had Buchholz, he featured that good mid-90s fastball 4-seamer he'd pitch at the top of the zone with, and a hard curveball. A lot of depth to it. That pitch, that breaking ball there, a little smaller than the curveball he featured back in the day.
He came in the Billy Wagner deal from the Phillies. Breaking pitch is fouled, and it's 0-2. Buchholz with Houston in 06 was 6-10. His ERA was 5.89. He made 19 starts and 3 relief appearances. As JD mentioned, since then he's become more of a relief pitcher who missed 09 with elbow surgery and came back with Colorado and Toronto last year to pitch only 9 times. But the Mets seem to have found a very reliable arm in Taylor Buchholz. DJ started for it. It's in the dirt.
You know, it's one of those low-risk moves from the Mets' point of view. You take a guy with some decent big league experience that has proven himself to be effective when healthy, and you do your due diligence with all the medical work and sign him. And I think he's making $600 grand, which, you know, baseball dollars is not a ton of money.
Signed as a free agent in January.
If it was a monopoly, he'd be like a B&O Railroad. No Marvin Gardens, no boardwalk.
Still 1-2. Taylor Buchholz was born in Lower Merion, PA. Justin Verlander in Detroit beat Kansas City tonight 3-1. Verlander going to 4-3. Beat Luke Hochevar, who's 3-4. Jose Valverde got his 9th save. Ooh. Yeah, it was right there for him, and he fouled it into the seats.
A little cutter, baby slider. The Verlander tonight, 8 innings of 2-hit baseball, Brownie. So he followed up his no-hitter with 8 innings of 2-hit baseball. It's pretty impressive run.
Yeah, that's one of the best attempts to duplicate what Johnny Vandermeer did, back-to-back no-hitters. I think Ewell Blackwell took a second no-hit bid into the 9th inning. Fastball fouled away. Right-handed batters are hitting 143 off Taylor Buchholz. 5 hits and 35 at bats. He's given up only 2 runs in his last 18 innings. The first batter's been kind of a problem for him, with Wallace reaching on a single here. He's only retired the first batter half the time. He gets a swing and a foul tip. That's a strikeout for out number 1.
So important to get that first man out. Obviously, he's been able to pitch around it. He's got very good numbers. And there's that big curveball, tight, sharp curveball to finish off CJ.
Bill Hall singled in a run in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. Buchholz averaging better than a strikeout per inning this year. That one got away from Taylor, and it's ball 1 in tight. Humberto Quintero's on deck. Mets relievers have combined for an ERA of 3.12. That's a full 2 runs plus lower than the Astros bullpen ERA of 5.22. Strike makes it 1-1 to Hall. Phillies 5, Atlanta 4. The Braves are batting in the bottom of the 9th.
And the Reds have come all the way back to tie the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th. 5-5, and the Reds continue to bat. A chance to win that one, though. Be jumping up and down in Cincinnati here if they get another one.
They've been doing that a few times this year. Hall fouls it. St. Louis leading Cincinnati by a game and a half right now in the NL Central.
Double could very well tie this ball game. Brett Wallace is not a speed demon, but he runs the bases okay. He's not a base clogger. With that in mind, the Mets outfielders are pretty deep here.
Hall punches one, and that's foul outside the right field line. Well, the Astros have lost 2 runners at home plate in this game. They've left 6 men on base.
Yeah, which isn't a real big number, but just opportunities in the second and third inning to do a lot more damage than they did. They had a lot of traffic in those 2 innings and managed to push across just the 1 run. And the base running mistake by Bill to end the 6th. That didn't help. Nothing like a little sweet redemption, though.
Lays off. And it's 2-2 to Bill Hall. Astros have scored 83 runs from the 6th inning on. That's 4th in the majors. They had that quality, even though they were trailing in a lot of those, to be able to make things close, make it uncomfortable. Fouled away, and Hall continues this battle here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. K-Rod is getting loose. Francisco Rodriguez, the Mets closer. Tampa Bay shut out Baltimore 3-0. Jeremy Hellickson the winner. Matt Joyce hit his 5th homer. Johnny Damon number 6. The Rays are 23-15.
After starting what? That's an ugly start.
1-8, I think. They are the lead dog in the AL East right now. David Wright throws to first. Gets Bill Hall. 2 outs. Wallace to second base. Humberto Quintero comes up. He's 0 for 3. Got an RBI when he reached on an error in the 6th inning by Murphy.
Terry Collins striding out there with a purpose. He wants to do a double switch. He almost forgot.
He almost did, because if he had walked across that third baseline, the home plate umpire would not have allowed him to make that double switch. You have to go to the home plate umpire before you cross that baseline usually. He's bringing in a catcher. And so we'll get new battery mates in just a moment with the score 5-4 Mets. Francisco Rodriguez for a 4-out save. Terry Collins makes a double switch, bringing in catcher Ronnie Paulino at the same time as Francisco Rodriguez. So the pitcher goes into the number 2 spot in the lineup. Paulino bats 9th. Francisco Rodriguez 1-0 with 10 saves and 11 tries, and we get a pinch hitter now for the Astros. For Quintero, it's Brian Bogusevic.
Interesting that Terry Collins would double switch his catcher out of the game. Polino in the 9-hole, but normally when you double switch, you go to the guy who made the last out in the previous inning. That was Carlos Beltran, and maybe he just feels like defensively he doesn't have any options.
Jason Michaels on deck. Pitcher spot due up next as Bogusevic pinch hits.
The way Beltran's been swinging the bat, I'm sure what TC is thinking, well, if the Astros tie this thing, I still want Beltran in my lineup.
Bogusevic is 3 for 11 with the Astros. He started Wednesday, went 0 for 2 with a pair of walks, scored a run. That off-speed pitch can be devastating from Francisco Rodriguez. 1 ball, 1 strike. One of the top closers in the game. He's converted 10 straight save chances now after blowing his first one of the season. Fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bogusevic, a young player who spent very little time in the big leagues, has done a nice job pinch hitting. As a pinch hitter, he's 3 for 9. Punches it on the ground into left field. Stop sign at third for Wallace on the pinch single by Bogusevic. A sharp hit through the left side. Wallace stopping at third on instructions from Dave Clark.
Fans voicing their displeasure, but even with 2 outs, you can't afford to send them there. Look how quickly Bay gets on this ball. Look where he is picking the ball up and where Wally is.
Now Jason Michaels, just back to the Astros today from that injury rehab assignment in Oklahoma City, is the pinch hitter for Fulcino. He is 2 for 18 with the Astros this season. 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter. Hurt his left shoulder in Milwaukee, trying to make a diving catch in left field.
Astros have to find a way to get more base hits to right field with men in scoring position. If you're getting these base hits to left, these line drives to left field, and the shallow left field out there, it's very difficult to score a runner from second.
Bet it is. Michaels missed 14 games while he was on the DL. Fastball fouled away. Fastball at 93 there from K-Rod. Rodriguez had 278 saves for his career. The Mets signed him going into the 09 season to a 3-year deal. But that could roll over for another year next year. Good restraint there by Jason Michaels not to swing at that pitch, and it's 2-1.
J-Mike with 3 at-bats off Rodriguez in his career. He's got a base hit in those 3 trips.
He wanted the at-bats in the minors so he would be sharp when he came back from the shoulder injury. 3-1.
Jason's been effective in this role over the years because he doesn't try to do too much. You come into these late game situations against these top relievers that throw hard. You can't be over swinging. You have to be quick to the ball and just fight it off sometimes.
3-1 coming. And it's a full count now. Bogusevic will be going on the 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. That could be important with the Astros down by a run. If Michaels hits a double, Bogusevic running on the pitch might be able to get home to score the go-ahead run. And a strikeout ends the 8th inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. Moving to the 9th, it's 5-4 Mets. shows you how the Mets started their comeback tonight with Jason Bay. This 2-out homer in the 7th inning, going out of the ballpark. The Astros had led 4-0 until Bay started that comeback.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that would be all that meaningful. The way Bud was pitching, really dominating this club, was a 3-1 fastball, and Bay jumped all over. But you're thinking, that's just one. Then Bud finished off the inning. Thought you were in pretty good shape, but an ambush in the 8th by the Mets. Now the Astros have to post a 0 and score at least one to tie in the 9th. Wilton Lopez will work the top half of the inning. He's on for the 12th time. No wins, a loss, and an ERA of 4.
Since he came back from the disabled list, he's had an ERA of 0 in 5 appearances. Bay leads it off. Gets a slider for strike 1.
And he hasn't been as sharp yet this year as he was last year, but starting to come back, and I think that's what Brad Mills is waiting for. Just a couple more appearances from Lopez till Brad gets that sense that he's going to be my guy in the 8th inning.
Brad said before the game Wednesday afternoon that the coaches had been talking about it that morning, and they just decided that Wilton Lopez would benefit from pitching more often, because he thrived on that last year.
Well, because of that, most sinker ballers like frequent work, and sometimes they feel too strong and the ball flattens out on them. Concept I never really grasped, but I get it.
Out into left center, Michael Bourne cruising over. 1 out. Lopez will move on to face Murphy next. Murphy is 0 for 3.
You can almost read Brad Mills' mind there as we had that shot of him in the dugout. Just seems like everything he tries in that bullpen blows up on him. He thinks he's got a hot hand going with Fulcino, and he gives up the home run.
That's the 10th blown save for the Astros relievers this year. There's strike 1. Good action there on the pitch from Lopez to Murphy. Lopez was on the DL from mid-April through May 1st with an ulnar nerve irritation in the elbow.
Murphy, a pretty decent offensive player. Posted pretty good power numbers as a minor leaguer. Tonight, nothing. A couple ground balls back to the mound and a punch out.
In the air, and Carlos Lee moves over toward the line and left. 2 outs for Lopez. His staple is usually the ground ball out, but he's gotten 2 in the air. Outs are outs. And now Turner. Turner singled in the 8th inning and came around to score. Justin started that 4-run rally with his hit on an 0-2 pitch. The Phillies held off Atlanta 5-4 in Atlanta, as the relievers decided that one. Bastardo the winner, O'Flaherty the loser. Madsen got save number 6. Howard hit his 9th homer. Line shot to left field. Another hit for Turner. He's a late inning hitter in this game. 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th.
Well, Philly Nation, those folks, they're spoiled over there in Philly now. They're all worked up about the Phillies not scoring enough runs.
Are they?
Yeah. They're 25-12 right now.
They've got to be worked up about something. Hit number 7 for the Mets brings up Jason Pridey. Pridey 0 for 3 tonight. Texas beat the Angels 4-1 in Texas. J.R. Tolles battled that pitch. Ball 1. Well, both managers going to their second catchers in the game in the late innings. Fairly unusual. Alexi Ogando won that game for Texas. He's now 4-0, beating Jared Weaver, who's 6-3. That's smoke to right center field. A gapper. That'll go all the way to the wall. And the Mets are going to send Turner home. Here's the relay throw going to third. It is 6-4. RBI double by Pridey. A 2-out rally as the Mets getting an insurance run home.
Yeah, he talked about the outs in the air by Wilton Lopez, and outs are outs, but it is sometimes with a pitcher, a certain pitcher can be an indication that things aren't quite right, because he does get so many ground ball outs when he's at his best. Typically very difficult to elevate off Wilton Lopez. No problem there for Friday.
Ronnie Paulino comes up. The catcher who came in the 9th spot in the order. Paulino, the former Pittsburgh Pirate, takes ball 1. He was on the disabled list, activated after the Astros were in New York in late April. He had been out with anemia. What a first start he had for the Mets this year. He went 5 for 7 at Philadelphia on May 1st. First Mets player to get 5 hits in his first start for the team since Hank Foyles. J.R. Tolles grabbed it up.
It's making up for lost time there.
Yeah.
Back getting 5 knocks. Hank Foyles, eh?
Hank Foyles did it for the Tigers in June of 1960. And he was the last Major League catcher to do that.
Oh, that's a catcher note.
First start for the team, yeah. The first Mets ever. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2. 3:05 start tomorrow in game 2 of this series. R.A. Dickey 1-4, J. Happ 2-4, the starters.
What I remember about Ronnie Paulino when he was with the Pirates is that he had pretty good gap power to right center.
Yeah. And he strikes out to end the top of the 9th. The Mets get a run on 2 hits and leave a man. They lead it 6-4. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Mets lead it by 2. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and New York, with closer Francisco Rodriguez on the mound, has a 6-4 advantage now, with the top of the order coming up for the Astros. And it'll be Michael Bourne leading it off. He is 1 for 4. To be followed by Barmas and Pence. Corner infielders pitching in tight on Bourne. And he looks at ball 1. K-Rod gave up a hit to Bogusevic, pinch hitting, and then he struck out Michaels to end the Astros 8th inning threat. That's lashed into right field. Bourne shoots one into right to start the home 9th for hit number 2 of the night for Michael.
Not a whole lot on that fastball from Rodriguez, about 88 miles an hour up, and Michael jumped all over it. Good start.
Clint Barmas next. Barmas is 0 for 3 with a walk. K-Rod has the high leg kick. There's strike one on Barmas. Astros down by 2. It's pretty tough to run in that situation, but Michael is absolutely certain he can do it. It would be a way to stay out of the double play. Fly ball goes to Wright. Beltran waiting. 1 out in the home 9th inning. Astros bullpen now has an ERA of 6.10.
And barring a double play, you're going to get 2 chances to tie this game with Pence and then Lee with Bourne aboard.
Pence has homered off K-Rod. That came in 09 here at Houston. Hunter 0 for 3 with a walk, with another chance to extend that hitting streak of 15 games. When he made that out in the 7th inning, it appeared that he might not get another shot at hitting now.
And he probably wishes he didn't get this shot at hitting.
Absolutely.
That would have meant the Astros were in the clubhouse celebrating a W. He was the hero the other day.
Gets a big hook for strike one.
Rodriguez gives you a lot to look at with all those arms and legs flailing.
Even though he was a longtime Angel, he's in 7th place on the Mets save list. Oh, and jammed Hunter. No balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez got into some off the field problems last year. He was charged with 3rd-degree assault. Native of Venezuela. He's had some big years. He had 62 saves in 08. Led the American League 3 different times in saves. Off the plate there with ball 1. Carlos Lee waiting. So Hunter Pence gets this shot at extending his hitting streak. Carlos Lee might get a shot at hit number 2,000.
Mets in the outfield very deep again, playing no doubles. Not so much to prevent Michael Bourne from scoring, but to try to keep Hunter Pence, the tying run, out of scoring position. Of course, with his speed and the way he runs the bases, he could dump one into shallow right center and turn it into a double.
Bourne's going, and the pitch is getting by Paulino, so Bourne steals the base easily. Paulino looked like he lifted up a little too soon in his haste to get Michael and failed to catch the pitch, which was ball 3. The steal is Michael's 14th of the year.
Yeah, I think that, the mandate there for the catcher is just make sure you catch the ball. It was interesting because as the play develops, Angel Hernandez asked down at first base if it was a swing or not. And had it been a swing, I would have had to take off.
Yeah, it's hard for the catcher to appeal on the check swing when he's chasing the ball. Pitcher must have asked.
I think Angel just asked on his own.
He might have. Tap foul by Hunter.
And if he did, it was good umpiring to do it at that point as opposed to wait till the play ends and then have the Mets go, hey, did he go?
Good point. Battle continues at 3 balls, 2 strikes. And now with Bourne 14 for 14 in steals. That means the Mets can't get Hunter to hit into a double play ball to end the game in the conventional way anyway. Popped up. Center fielder digging, and Pride's there. 2 outs. And it's Carlos Lee now.
Well, this has kind of been Carlos's night. Maybe he's got one more big swing in him.
2 hits, a sacrifice fly. Scored a run. He's made good plays in left. Red Wallace on deck. Paulino and K-Rod talk about it. Reyes is there. Pitch count getting up fairly high for a closer with a day game coming tomorrow. .20 pitches so far, 12 strikes. That's strike 1. Now 0-2. Carlos throws his head back after the call by Angel Hernandez. That changes a lot of things.
Fox tracks ahead of the strike. Carlos thought it was high. One of those pitches as a pitcher you don't expect to get called.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Now his fastball has been, what, 88 to 91 and pretty straight. The breaking ball is his best weapon.
Rodriguez has not given up a homer in 18 innings.
By golly, he's due.
Turn back towards second.
Huh. It could be going through a pitcher's mind to take a step towards second base with 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs on the hitter in a 2-run ball game. What could you possibly be thinking?
This one gets by Paulino, and Bourne goes to third. Pass ball.
Paulino thought he was having a night off.
Anything but. Six to 4 lead. 2-2 count. Now full count. With Wallace on deck.
Rodriguez, like so many effective closers over the years, throw strike 1 and then spend as little time in the strike zone, get the hitters to chase the pressure of the moment, and then gets to the hitters. The guys take advantage of it. The smart ones got away with a hanger there.
Yes, he did. Somebody's running on the field, so we're going to have a delay in the game.
It's not going to end well for that young man.
No, it's going to end behind bars.
Gee.
Well, he is doing his Spider-Man act now out in center field, climbing the wall.
This is unbelievable.
And he still is not going to be able to elude the authorities.
This guy went over the outfield wall, climbed into the grassy area out behind center field, and then jumped into the concourse in deep center field.
He wound up on home run alley. But by the end of the night, he'll probably feel as if he hit into a triple play once they catch up to him.
Maybe the best athlete on the field.
He was quick. Now back to the game. 3-2, 2 outs.
Not a hanger, boy. I tell you what, Rodriguez is he's flirting with it. Hanging breaking ball, hanging changeup. He's gotten away with a couple big mistakes.
He's thrown 7 pitches to lead.
Yeah, a lot over the middle of the plate and up. Living dangerously.
Ground ball third, Wright to end it. And the Mets storm from behind with late home runs. They get 3 long balls in the 7th and 8th, add another run in the 9th, and come back to win it. Final score, Mets 6, Astros 4.